Okay, everybody. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to part 4 of this summer special of Liam's Lively Jukebox and On the Road Again. Now, in the previous part, I ended off with mentioning about repacking, how the challenges with that. It was challenging, and then getting it sorted. Now, we did manage to get sorted in the end. Like the last time, leaving it to the last minute. Both guilty. We should be better organised. The amount of travelling we both have done previously, but then I think with Miss Rona coming in, it sort of has put the wind in our sails. But now, this time, it will hopefully, when we're now traveling more frequently, and now with everything opening with COVID, we're still able to travel a bit more easily. But anyhow, now this time I think this time I was slightly a little bit nervous, like traveling to the airport. This is the first time my partner and I have stepped foot in an airport. We have not been in an airport for so long. It's been the first time in, I think at this point, about 15 and a half months, we were in the airport. We flew out on the 5th of July. So the 5th of July is when we flew out. I'm traveling the airport, and there's quite a good crowd for going to the airport. Now, when we were looking at the departure boards and the arrivals boards, the flights were sort of well spaced out enough that there's like maybe an hour and a half between flights. So Santiago de Compostela, Rosalia de Castro Airport now, as it's known, is very good that way. Now, Santiago de Compostela Airport is an airport that we would commonly use, whether we're flying domestically or going home to Ireland, because Aer Lingus would do the Dublin service from Santiago, which anyone for anyone who doesn't know, it's a flight that actually lasts about an hour and 40 minutes. It's not even a long flight either. But anyhow, when we move forward from that, it's like when we're traveling to the airport, what was different the last time we were at the airport to now? Now, the last time we were at the airport, we were flying to Malta, which was a service which Ryanair had started and which was extremely popular and twice weekly. And then obviously with coronavirus and different things like that, it had been gone from full time to seasonal, and then it has now, and currently it's been suspended. But I hope very soon it will be restarted again, which when things improve. But when we're looking at this, the difference are this time, obviously, anyone who has not been in the airport, you must wear a mask. You must wear a mask in the airport. There's no effort. But, obviously, if you're feeling a bit, I sometimes do this, like open my mask out, just let it ventilate a bit of air and then put it back again, maybe for a minute or so. And it was very, very straightforward. The way they had it in check-in, they had everyone sort of spaced out. They had like markers to space everybody out, going through the airport. Now, obviously, myself being sensible, and I said to my partner, like, look, I'm going to put our boarding passes on my phone, so it's contactless. There's no bullshit, basically. Excuse my language. And that means then there's the minimizing the contact, the better. And then that means then there's no problems. And I recommend the app Pass Wallet, because Pass Wallet is a very good, if you have an Android phone like I have, is a very good one to use. It's a very good one to use as well, because I think what is a good app to store boarding passes as well. So going through, check-in was relatively smooth. I obviously was not paying attention, and then trying to pick up on the Spanish as well. I thought, oh, I had one bag, and then I didn't even need to carry on bags. I just used my small bag, which was to put under the seat. Like, my partner had a small bag, because he was able to tuck it in on the overhead, when we were on the flight to Barcelona, and that's where we were going. So the flight was VY 1677 from Santiago to Barcelona. And it was very, very smooth. The fact of the matter is, we had our seats, we only had the one piece of carry on. We didn't need to line up and go running to the gate. Now, one thing I do here at an airport, security was smooth. Everything when we got in through the airport, like even on the air side, was smooth as well. And I thought to myself, right, let's just find a seat near the gate and as close to the gate as possible. And the funny thing is, the amount of people who are impatient and they just go, once they see the gate number up, they go straight to it. Now, we both thought to ourselves, like, if we only have the one bag, I'm thinking to myself, right, do you know what? Let's go near the end when it's like the last group are being called. We could, rather than being like the first ones on, we're the one of the last ones on. And we were one of the last ones on the flight. We were like row 9, 99F. And we were flying with Welling, which is an airline which we commonly use. We commonly use Welling here, especially flying domestically or flying to the islands. We usually do, because usually you have cheap fares similar to Ryanair. It's like the low cost version of Iberia. And the flight lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. It was a very short flight going from Santiago to Barcelona. It was a very quiet flight. I don't know about you, but my partner and I think are both guilty of this because we're both so tired. I end up nowadays, if I even when I'm on my own, like 5 minutes in like this, or leaning up against the window and then just waiting until the flight comes to a complete end, that sort of thing. But it was a very smooth flight. We arrived, it was hot in Barcelona, and obviously we knew the bags weren't going to be down straight away. We were going to be waiting 15-20 minutes because it's a big ass airport. It's a big airport. Then we go downstairs and we waited about 15 minutes on the bags coming through. We also noticed bags had already been left out, obviously from other previous flights. Because there's flights that were international as well as domestic flights, but usually I think they tend to have, for certain baggage belts, localized flights, international flights as well. So that's how it really worked there. So flying differences, it's not much different except you have to wear a mask at all times. You have to remember to try and socially distance. And I have to say in Santiago and in Barcelona, they had hand stations everywhere. So hand sanitizers stations everywhere dotted throughout the airport as well. Now, traveling to Tarragona, now when we arrived in Catalonia, we had to now figure out where do we go next. Now, we went on the metro from our airport terminal 1 to Barcelona Sants. Now, Barcelona Sants is the biggest station in Barcelona. Now, my partner took nerves. I took nerves when we arrived. I had no clue where we were going in this station. I didn't even know where everything was laid out. I did wander off to try and find information, which of course is not the right thing to do when you're with your partner. That's not the right thing to do. But the thing is, trying to figure out where to go, where to do. What I should have done was say to my partner, look, just sit down there. I'll be back in a minute. And I got the tickets, which was not a problem. But what I didn't realise is that the confusing thing is when you have like the Circunes and the Express, the regional, everything else is under the umbrella of Rodalies Catalunya, which is like the Catalonian train service, which is all on one side. I went to the information desk who, can I just say, weren't that helpful. I had to figure it out. And my partner was getting frustrated. We were both getting frustrated with everything, and in turn we were getting frustrated with each other. And I was just trying to figure it out. And luckily there was a lovely train guard who buzzed us through because he knew we had the tickets. I said, look, and he said no. He said platform 11 and 12, and I said thank you so much. And then we went through, and the train, just a word of warning, in the height of summer it is going to be hot down there, so I would recommend have a bottle of water, a cold drink or something just to keep you alert. And that combined with tiredness, everyone gets ratty when that happens as well. Then we got our train, which went from Barcelona Sants to Tarragona. Now, in Tarragona, there are 2 train stations. There is Camp Tarragona and there's Tarragona Station. If you're wanting to go into Tarragona town, Tarragona is better than Camp Tarragona. But if you're using the AVE, you use Camp Tarragona. So Camp Tarragona, which is about 15 minutes from Tarragona itself, you can get a taxi. It's about 25 euros on the taxi, so about 25 to 30 euros on the taxi. But if you're sharing, it's a reduced cost. And the ticket actually on the train was 8 euros, and the taxi from the train station to our hotel, which we stayed in a gorgeous Hotel Laurea, which was about, I think it was about 5 euros. And the taxi drivers were lovely. They were really friendly, really, really engaging. Then we arrived at Tarragona, and it was really hot, beautiful. Where we were staying was central. It was on the main avenue overlooking the Mediterranean balcony. Now, there's 2 parts to the Hotel Laurea. There's the Hotel Laurea itself and then the Laurea apartments. Now, when I looked at photos online before we left, I was like, oh, look at these, look at the fancy staircase and everything. That was for the apartments, not the hotel. The hotel was on the other side. Now, the hotel was clean, basic, we had a nice terrace. Had a bit of a palaver trying to find how the aircon worked because it was so hot. You're talking 30, 32 degrees at about 7 o'clock in the evening. So it was still really hot. But luckily the key is you had to close the windows in order for the aircon to work. And the Wi-Fi was fantastic. Everything worked well. Then that night obviously we went for something to eat. When all else fails and when you're trying to look for a restaurant, if you find a McDonald's or a Domino's or something like that, we just go there for the first night just to eat something fast and quick. Good job. So that's the way it always works. It always happens that way when we're on holidays, and I think for most people when they're on holidays that tends to be the case. And Tarragona is a lovely town. It's a lovely town by the sea, and it is beautiful. It's very relaxing. It was very nice. And the group, which was I actually was in two of their schools, one in Reus, which was about 15-20 minutes from Tarragona, and then I was in the Tarragona Centre the Tuesday I was in the Reus, and Wednesday I was in the Tarragona Centre. Same group but two different centres. So I was assessing all these different students who were little kids. I was like, oh, so lovely. But I really enjoyed it, and it's actually lovely when you meet other teachers and directors who are so welcoming and they're so open to your advice, your questions, and everything else. And I'm actually excited because I actually, as a teacher, like as an examiner and a teacher, it's like I can give them some advice and give them some games and some ideas on how to help them improve and help them be the best students that they can be as well, which is something I want from the students. Which a lot of examiners I think lose sight of this. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I have seen examiners in here and I'm thinking, do you really want to be here? Because I know as an examiner, I want to be there. Yes, I understand after 4 hours examining, you're going to be tired. But I kept powering through, and then the protocols they used were fantastic for temperatures, for wiping desks, everything. It was superb. It was really well done, and they never had a problem with any schools throughout that time as well. And exploring Tarragona, now we only had a few days, which was ironically I wish I had more time really to do more stuff as well. I think it was very good. But I think the more time that we had, I think I think it would have got, I think maybe an extra day or so would have been more helpful. But it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it as well. And seeing Reus is a beautiful small town, a beautiful city as well, which I recommend anyone to see. And most people who are from the UK usually fly into Reus Airport, which is it's a seasonal airport. But if you're going to the likes of Tarragona or Girona has its own airport, but most people, Barcelona is the easiest, and it's easy to sort of navigate from there as well. And the weather was hot. So, and we were enjoying the sunshine. There was a Mediterranean balcony, ruins, which were right beside the hotel. And it was amazing to see around us as well, for that duration of time. So that was really what was it in Tarragona. Now join me on my last part now, where I will be talking about the beautiful and gorgeous Girona and Llagostera, which is where, and San Feliu de Xols, which I got to reunite with a friend of mine, actually not a friend of mine, a friend of ours. And I hope you're enjoying it so far. So see you in the last part. See you in a moment.